Hi, everybody. We're back, and it's only a week later. It's not 6 months. So
Surprise.
we're thriving. First, before we get into episode two, we just really, really, really want to thank everybody so much that has pushed play, listened to our podcast, given us any feedback, all the things. Anything you want to say there, Gabriella?
Yeah, no, just thanks for listening. I'm excited. I want more feedback. I think that would be good. We're interested in hearing more feedback, good or bad. Maybe just as long as it's kind
We
or you use tact. Don't break our hearts. I'm just kidding.
I know,
I can
watching the
take it.
next time, we'll be like, okay, guys, slow it down, slow it down. But really, just that's what we want to do. So we just want to express our gratitude of how thankful we are for you. Make sure we have an Instagram page for the podcast. It's called aliveandwellish.pod. If you go to either one of our Instagrams, you'll see it on there too. And then if you would like to follow on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or subscribe on YouTube, we'd so appreciate it. It's super helpful for us to see who's listening. So anyway, we are going about to dive into episode two, but with that, we want to give a little bit of a warning before we push play on that.
A little bit of a trigger warning because
Yeah.
I did dive into a little bit of like child sexual assault and just like my experience as a kid. It doesn't get too like graphic or any like super
Mm-mm.
heavy, but it's still a little bit just in case you guys have little ears listening.
Absolutely.
And then also, what was the other one? Oh, also like drug talk a little bit. I am married to a recovering addict, so we talk a little bit about that. So I think that was just like the little hot topics that we wanted to make sure that everyone knows before you play it around maybe, your kids or I don't know, your grandma.
Yeah, I would say this probably isn't the episode to play around. Honestly, I mean, I don't really know if many of ours are to play around kids. Let's just play it safe.
Right.
This is
You
for
should probably
you.
listen first.
This
Yeah.
is pop some headphones in, but we do just
Yeah.
want to give those warnings before we push play. But here is episode two for you guys, and we hope you enjoy. Big stretch.
Hi, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Alive and Wellish,
Yes,
episode two
ish.
ish.
Literally.
Actually, well, I was going to say is episode three technically, but we lost the second one. So
Okay,
we're
so what
back.
happened is if you tuned in and listened to our very first episode that we uploaded, in the beginning we shared how we recorded on April 1st and we had all these big dreams and these big plans, and then we ghosted for 6 months. And
Very on brand.
what had happened was we recorded another episode like a couple days later, and it was so good, you guys, like chef's kiss. But technology hates us and it never converted. So I don't know if you did, Gabriella, but I literally went through like a grieving process of this lost content.
Well, I felt worse for you because it was on your computer. And so
Oh
you
my
felt
God.
bad. You're like, oh my God. I was just like, I feel bad for her. Like as an empath, I
Yeah.
was like, I am not mad, but I felt bad.
Every day for like 2 weeks, I was like trying to convert it. And then it was just,
You're
and
like
then
thinking of your life and how much better it would have been if the
I
podcast
just hate,
hadn't
I
deleted.
just hate wasting time. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I love you. And it was super
Right.
fun
Right.
talking with you and laughing for an
Yeah.
hour. But I was just, I don't know. So now apparently 6 months is the timestamp on grieving for a lost episode. Um,
So if we get this episode out and then another one within like the month, I feel like we're doing better, Because like,
okay. You know what it is though? Did you watch Secret Lives of Mormon Wives?
did I watch it? I binged it.
Okay, same.
Yeah.
That's what we did because literally the very first episode of and sorry, we're gonna have I mean, not really a spoiler alert, but a little bit of a
No.
spoiler alert, I guess. But the very first episode, we're watching, and then the second episode picks up like 9 months later,
It was
and
actually like 2 years later. They filmed the pilot
no.
2 years before. That's what one of the girls said on a podcast that I was
Oh my
listening
God.
to.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
see, so 6 months, we're winning.
6 months is
We're
not that
winning.
bad, honestly.
Literally, like that's what I
Honestly.
thought of. I was like, we are basically, if they can do it, we can do it.
Honestly,
So
take it up with our management.
thank you, Hulu, for giving me this permission slip to
Yeah. To suck a little. It's okay.
to be late.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. So what? Now we had to what were you gonna say?
that was
That
what I
we
was gonna
couldn't
say.
that was that was oh my God. Did you like the show? I'm
Okay.
surprised that you watched it. I don't feel like you watch stuff like that.
So literally, again, guys, all right, we did not plan on really recording an episode right now. We were just talking on Zoom, trying to figure out technology, and I thought about that Secret Life because we have not talked about it. I didn't even know if she watched it, and if not, I was going to give her the whole rundown. But then we just started recording because I was like, I don't even want to talk to you about this unless we're recording.
Fake friends. They're like, are they even friends? This is content. Everything is content.
Everything is
Yeah,
content.
no, that show was so good. It was so silly. I actually just got my
It was so
sister-in-law started
silly.
on it. It's so silly. Like, oh my God. Well, it's just because I always am an overthinker. And so, like, when I watched it, I'm like, I always, not that the devil needs an advocate, but I'm always just like, I wonder how that really played out because, there's like producers behind the scenes,
Oh,
like, or,
100%.
whatever. And so then I listened to the podcast where these girls are like actually talking and saying their piece, where they're
Yeah,
like, that's so weird. Like, that's not at all how it was in person, but okay,
I know.
whatever.
It really, both of us, I feel like I have such a love-hate relationship with social media, right?
Right.
And the portrayal of people. And to be honest, like that show, and I loved it. I binged it. I'm here for it. I am not a TikTok fan. And
Season two
maybe
confirmed.
is it?
Yep.
So sorry, guys. I swear to God, this is not a Secret Lives of Mormon Wives podcast, all right? But we are
This
chatting.
is the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives podcast now.
First, we talk about Brene Brown, then we go
Right.
straight to swinging Mormons. It's fine.
And that just shows
Um,
you.
I mean, I really hope if you're listening to this, you know what we're talking about. It's a show on Hulu. It's
They're
a,
like, we just lost 14 viewers. They're like
I know.
immediately.
Well, yeah, but I don't have TikTok. I mean, I have it only so I can watch funny videos that people send me because I just really don't like having FOMO. But after this, I went down all the rabbit holes and
Hmm.
like watched them all and all the things. And I am a rabbit hole girly. Like I don't know if it's like the neurodivergency at all, but like literally anything I watch, I have to go down the rabbit hole of the real life stuff, of the real
Yeah,
life.
I immediately followed like all the girls and then listened to all the podcasts that they put out. And like by the
Yeah.
end of it, I was like with Whitney, I'm like, I
Is
I
she
guess
the villain?
I'm not gonna give spoilers.
Oh,
I'm literally
sorry.
just saying, oh no, I'm not gonna give spoilers. I just literally was
Yeah,
like, well, I can see why you stepped back and I can see why you removed yourself. And then you can see how they twist things and make it look like she was being a certain way when really she's like, that's not at all the conversation. It's not at all,
I
this or
know.
that. So like you can form your own opinion. But I just like I know I take things that just kind of like just like face value and then kind of
Oh
try to
yeah.
figure it out from there because
But it's also so crazy going back after you watch the show and going back to their TikToks and their social media and seeing the video, like kind of looking at their social media from the time that they were filming.
yeah.
And like that's so hard to me because my brain just doesn't work. And I don't know, maybe this is bad, but for always, my brain for social media has always been just like showing up through all of it, you know?
Oh
That's
no.
just
Yeah.
and like so it just breaks my brain when I'm like all of this stuff was happening and it wasn't like a part of it. And I get that that's I guess like the whole issue with social media is it's like only posting the highlight reel, only posting the aesthetic stuff.
Hmm.
And so like it actually really does rub me the wrong way, that kind of stuff. So that was just I
And
went
then
through
you
a
think
whole
about it too,
thing.
though. There's probably stuff where it's like they like legally
Can't.
cannot share stuff and
Yeah.
contractually. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. And I also like I give them so much grace because I can't imagine. And I know they're full grown adults, but I like some of them are younger. Like me being a 31-year-old woman, I'm just like, if you would have seen maybe the shit that I would have said, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like the person that I was, or like hatefulness or whatever it is, like
Hmm.
I was so imperfect, like we all are. And so I can't
Yeah.
imagine if I had a camera
Oh my
around me
God.
24/7.
Yeah, and I was watched a reel or a TikTok or something, and it was one girl who was, and she was actually in Utah, and I think she is Mormon, was Mormon, left the Mormon church. I don't know, but she was like, if you're watching this and you're like, these girls are acting like teenagers, she's like, it's because they essentially are, because
Yeah,
through their teenage years, they were not able to
right.
fully, do all the things that many of us, I mean, not you, we talked about this on the last episode, you were,
No,
but
no,
me.
that was the last episode, I think, right?
No,
Or
no, it
was
was
it
on
oh, it was the first
yeah.
one? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
where you were like very
Yeah.
not going out and
Sheltered.
drinking in ditches and stuff like I was. But
They're like, "Were you
um
Mormon?" And I'm like, "Basically."
basically. But yeah,
Somewhat.
so and then now they are kind of living out those lives. The difference is now they have husbands and children and money and like so it's just so
Yeah.
and they're on TV. Like
TikTok.
it's
Yeah,
just
TikTok platforms.
all heightened and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's wild. I thoroughly enjoyed it. My friend Brittany got me into reality shows. I basically left them after like Real World. I never
Yeah.
watched or what I take that back. I used to watch Flava Flav when I was like a
Oh my God,
teenage.
Flava Flav. I love him. Oh my God, that's so freaking funny. I was just thinking about how somebody one time, like I can't even remember who it was. I would not be surprised if it was like Brene Brown, but it was just talking about like guilty pleasures and how like silly that is, like for it to be a guilty pleasure. You know what I mean? Because like
Yeah.
men don't say that about watching football. Like, why
Right.
it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no, like, why feel guilty about something that you enjoy? Like, is it like trash TV? Sure, like, whatever, but it's entertainment. That's literally
Yeah.
what it is.
And I think it also depends on like what way you consume it because some people
Yeah.
like, and I'm not gonna say and call anybody out, and it's nobody like, it's not like a friend, it's not you, it's like, just someone I know will watch these things and get so like literally upset, like to the point where
Okay, no,
it's like those people
like
are
in it.
backstabbing them. Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
like
okay. I
I
get
just
like
hate
that. When
this.
I hear like news and stuff about like celebrities or anything, I'm just like, you don't we don't know them. They don't know
Yeah.
us, and we actually don't know if that's really what happened.
Yeah,
So,
we need healthy boundaries with trash TV,
yeah.
like it can't.
Yeah.
But then again, here we are freaking talking about it and recording a podcast. So,
Yeah.
so sorry.
This is a
Um,
Mormon Stan podcast. I'm
this
just
is,
kidding. Do whatever you want to do. I'm no judge. I'm not
I
doing it though.
support you. Okay,
From over here.
do we want to grab a topic
Yeah,
from our,
absolutely.
we have a little topic
Do you have
list
one
that
intention? I mean, one intention, one in mind? That's not the word I was trying to say. That's fine.
Oh my goodness. No, I don't. Let's go to our list. So, guys, we have a list. Also, if you are listening to this and there is something specific that you feel like we should chit chat on
If
or
you've ever
talk,
thought, I wish I could get Larissa or Gabriella's, thoughts on this.
I don't
That could be something weird. I know. They're like, I've never thought about
never
you
in my
in my
life.
life. I've
Who are
never
you?
had that sentence come into my brain. Well, if you have,
I have this one that you wrote. Are you a naked mom or not?
oh yeah, are you in? Yeah,
Okay,
that's my
so
question to you.
well, what's the definition of a naked mom? Like walking around the house naked?
Yeah, but I don't like for me, I don't mean like, okay, well, I just preface it with this. Like when I would walk into the bathroom and my mom was like showering or getting out of the shower, she was never like, oh, okay, I gotta hide. Like, you know what I'm saying? It would never be like, oh God, wait. And so I have developed that as well. I will
Okay.
say I have three boys, two 9 year olds and a 12, almost 13-year-old. And like none of them see me topless. None of them see me without clothes on. But like if I'm in a sports bra or if I'm getting ready or something, pulling my shirt on and they walk in, I'm not gonna like freak out. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I'm not like, but I'm not walking around like naked. So when I say that, I just mean like kind of maybe comfortable in your body for lack of a better word, or just like, just not, I don't know. That because that's what for me, naked mom was like that, or like a t-shirt and like either booty shorts or something like that, just walking around comfortable. I
Yeah.
think when my boys were younger, like yeah, I didn't really care. I'd walk around in a towel or whatever it was, and like it was just very normal. And my girls see me, they can be in the room while I'm changing, and
Yeah.
I don't really care.
No, I definitely think it's a different dynamic depending on if you have boys or girls.
Right.
And I mean, I guess that could be a conversation for discussion as well, I guess. But
Mm-hmm.
so I only have two girls.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, for me, like when they're, because I want them to be comfortable in their
Right.
bodies. So, like, I'm comfortable with it. Or, like, sometimes Elliot, my youngest, if I'm like changing, she'll be like, Mom, close the door. So, like, like, yes and no for changing and stuff. I don't walk around like in like, like boy short underwear or anything
Mm-hmm.
like that. I definitely walk around in sports bra. Basically, the biggest reason I probably don't walk around in boy short underwear is because my husband would just be grabbing my butt all the time. And I mean,
Literally.
he already is all the time.
Yeah.
So like, let's
It'd be
not,
worse.
yeah, let's not ensue that
Encourage it.
because that would be an uncomfortable situation. I feel like with my
Yeah.
kids around, and not that we aren't like affectionate and stuff in person, but like it
Right.
doesn't get dirty, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
No, absolutely.
so yeah, I do in front of the girls. To be honest, I think sometimes it could make them uncomfortable, but I think that just brings up like good conversations too. You know what I
I was
mean?
thinking that too. If Elliot is like, no, because there's definitely some times where, like, my oldest daughter, she's 8, and she likes to, for a while, she would just like close the door if I'd go to walk in or something. She'd be like, oh, I'm in here. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Or like, but now sometimes even at 8, she's like, hey, can you help me wash my hair? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So like, I'll help her with her hair in the shower and then I'll get out. But like, I just very much am like respecting whatever they're in because I'm
Their
sure they're going to go through
boundaries.
phases. So if it's weird to them, let it be weird. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's not weird to me. Like,
Right.
but that's also okay. And same for like, my husband, he has different boundaries because our toddler will just be like, what's that? Like trying to shower with him. And,
Yeah.
he's a little bit more like, whatever. And I'm like, well, that's daddy's private parts. Like she knows the anatomically correct names for all of them. But like, and so we talk about that. I'm like, oh, let's get out of the bathroom or
Yeah.
whatever. And it is
I
what it is.
know.
Everybody has different.
I think that's what it is it's just individual boundaries. That is, I will say, like one of the craziest parts about like parenting and parenthood as like your kids get older is it's just like for years when they're toddlers and really little, like if they're if they're potty training, like you are literally in the bathroom with them, like you are wiping
Wiping
their
their butt.
butt, everything, like you were there, and it's just like normal. And
Hmm.
it's so interesting because like obviously it gets to a point where like either they're not comfortable with it, you're like you want to respect their boundaries and all the things like that, but it's like sometimes I forget and I like Avery will be going to the bathroom and I'll just like walk in and she's
And
like,
they have to
Mom.
tell you.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It's
No, but
just,
it's like how you respond. And I think that's so important because that's
yeah.
all life is. They're gonna make their friends uncomfortable on accident. And you know what I'm saying? And they're gonna make their partners uncomfortable on accident. And then it's up to
Yeah.
them to be like, oh, I'm sorry, didn't realize. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just because I'm okay with that doesn't mean they're gonna be okay with that. And like vice versa. And that's okay. So yeah, we talk a lot about that. And even like consent and stuff like that kind of ties into it, I feel like, especially with
Hmm.
our boys, because they Frankie likes our okay, toddler, she's almost 4. She likes to walk around either naked or like just a big t-shirt because she's potty training still. So
Hmm.
like nothing on underneath it. And she'll be just like spread eagle doing flips. And I'm like, Frankie, tone it down, close your legs, like whatever. But like the boys will be like, oh, whatever. And I'm just like, let's be respectful of people's bodies. There's nothing
Yeah.
gross about her body. I understand if you don't want to see it, you look away. Like you
Yeah.
look away. If you are uncomfortable with something, now if she is getting all up in your face, it's different. If she's like not respecting your boundaries, whatever. But
Yeah.
like I'm so trying to work, especially, and I'm sure it's like sexist, whatever, but especially with my boys, where I'm just like, if you are uncomfortable with something, look away,
Well,
you
yeah.
know?
And I mean, that goes back to a lot of things, right? Of people saying, like, women, if they're dressed provocatively, I'm putting air
Anything,
quotes. And it's like,
breastfeeding,
did you dress this way? Like, did you put that idea in their heads? Like, no, like, I'm sorry, you control your own body, you control your own thoughts, you control your own actions.
especially growing up like Pentecostal, like it's always like, well, oh, just like having to cover yourself
Hmm.
so that men or whatever don't, get these ideas. And it's like, that's just like literally not my problem.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. I'm not like sitting here encouraging my girls to like dress provocatively, but like as they grow older and they express themselves, it's literally their choice. And I can't, I can shame them. I can try to change it. I can try to encourage them, whatever it is, but like they're going to be the adults they want to be because I
Yeah.
turned into the adult that I wanted to be. Like,
Yeah. Well, and that's the
ugh,
thing about shame, like you said, like, shaming them is like the shame always it becomes internal.
exactly.
It's never my mom was shaming me. It's I feel shameful,
Exactly.
even if it's coming from an outside perspective. Learn this from Brene, just saying. Our next podcast guest will be Brene Brown. Just kidding. I wish. I'm manifesting. Just
I would
kidding.
shit my pants.
I wish I would not be able to do it. Are you kidding me?
No, I'd literally be like, I'm sick. I'm so serious. Anyway, yeah, I love talking about all of that. And like, I don't have it all figured out. It's really like, that like term, new levels, new devils. I feel like
Mhm.
that all the time with kids where I'm just like, oh, we got it down. And then it gets a little bit different. And I'm like, oh, like we
I,
just
l-
ventured into the sleepover land. And I'm just
oh,
like,
yeah.
oh,
Also,
Bellamy,
I do think we said new levels, new devils about parenthood in our first podcast episode.
probably. Because
Yeah,
that's one that
but you
like,
know
oh,
what? It's been 6 months, guys. All right.
it's a theme. Yeah, they're gonna be like, I just now listened to that right before this episode.
Yeah.
Oops.
Um.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So diving into the sleep, this is tough. Let's talk about it. Let's dive in because that's tough. So what are your kind of, I don't know,
well, I don't know
stances,
how like
thoughts?
deep and weird we can get on this, but like you can
Episode
edit it
two.
out if you don't
Shit.
want to. We're going in. No, I'm just kidding. Buckle up.
Trigger
So
warning, maybe.
yeah,
If
maybe trigger
yeah.
warning. Absolutely. So like child SA,
Hmm.
trigger warning. Like so my kids know in very age appropriate terms, um, that happened to me when I was a kid by another kid. Um,
Oh, you've told
yeah.
this to me and I totally forgot. Sorry,
So
bad
when there
friend.
was an adult in the other room, like they
Hmm.
didn't know about it. And so like, and I carried that and it was like super shameful. I didn't know anything. I'm sure I repressed it or something until I was like a little older. And so my kids like know just, we know all the correct body part names and all that and like where people can touch you, blah, 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 including like your
Hmm.
lips and chest and all of that. But so it's just super important for me to be open with them about that and but then to also like not make my problems their problems or like my fears their fears.
Right.
And so my daughter is 8 and she has spent the night with 2 people so far, both whom the moms I've known since high school.
Hmm.
Or I guess one of them was right after high school. So yeah, so it's that and also I'm very just like psychotic, where we have the conversation every single time. What's appropriate touches, what are not appropriate touches, your private parts, your
Yeah.
mouth, chest, butt, all those things. And so every time they're kind of like eye roll, but I'm like, I would rather, I'd
Right.
rather have this conversation every single day till the
Before.
day I
Yeah.
die. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And then like also I am subsequently like, and if anybody ever does touch you or ever does make you uncomfortable, I know you're not always going to feel comfortable in that moment to like make them stop. Please do, but if you don't, just know you can always tell me. I'm going to
Hmm.
believe you no matter what. I'm going to believe you no
Yeah.
matter what. No matter what.
We're now, had you ever had those kinds of conversations before this happened to you as a kid? Like, was that ever like even in your
No,
realm of
I didn't know that was a
possibility?
thing.
You didn't
No,
know
and
it was a thing.
actually the kid who did it coerced me into whatever because it was like we went to Sunday school and like church together. And so it was kind of like, this is what they do.
Oh, stop. That actually just gave me a pit in my
It's
stomach.
so gross. No, I know. And that's why I'm just like, and I look back and I'm like, I know this kid. You don't know if kids are a victim of it themselves. You don't know
Right.
if kids are just curious. And that's the thing is I think a lot of times curiosity gets it. So that's why I have such an open door policy about anything
Yeah.
body, sexual, anything like that. And because,
Yeah.
yeah, you never know. So,
And you never know what kids are exposed to also, especially now, especially now. Like, and that happened what, 25 years ago, or I don't know how long, 20 years ago? I don't,
yeah, I was about 6 or 7. Yeah.
yeah. So, but like, and especially now with like the internet and social media and
Yeah.
phones and stuff, like you really genuinely never know what kids are exposed to, and that can bring on like a whole nother thing. So we do not do sleepovers for the same kind of fear and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's hard because I think about this all the time because like sleepovers and slumber parties and those kinds of things were such a big part of my childhood.
It's so
And
hard.
I did not have an experience like that, and I know how fortunate I am. But like honestly, I feel like a lot of the time that's almost like the minority part of it is that
Right.
like there's actually less people that
Or even that there was like weird games played while you were there, like that. Not saying you experienced that, but just sometimes it happens like that. And you look back
yeah,
as an adult and you're like, that wasn't,
that wasn't right. Or like just little, yeah, like little things and stuff. So the hard part is that was such a huge part of my childhood and growing up. Like literally, like I have core
yeah.
memories of sleepovers and slumber parties and things like that. Even after I moved 2.5 hours away from all my friends, I would go up and visit for the weekend and stay with a friend and their family. You know what I mean? And again, I'm counting all of my blessings and how grateful I am that I was never put in
Yeah.
a situation like that. But like you just genuinely never know. And what's been really hard for us is because we are getting into that age with our kids, and a lot of people are having sleepovers, which, it's totally fine. Um, and it's hard because, and honestly, I'm going to be totally honest, and this is probably shameful for me, is we haven't had that conversation with them about the real why, you
It's
know?
hard.
And it is hard. It's one of those things of like, again, they do know body boundaries. They know about, like
Right.
what's not okay and touching and
But
things
they
like
don't know
that.
like what could happen kind of
they
like
they don't know the evil of, you know what I mean? And that
that's the part I
it's
hate
I
because it makes me
know,
sick to my stomach having to be like, but what if I don't?
I know, and it's so hard because it's like once
Ugh,
once we like bring those things into the
open it
conversation,
up.
it's there forever, you know?
Yeah.
And like I do feel like it takes a part of their innocence. But again, it is a really, really important conversation to have. And I'm not a professional in this space at all.
Right.
If you are and you're listening to this, like please give us your feedback. Tell us if we're doing something wrong. Honestly, like
Seriously.
I'm open to hear it. But the hard part is there are people, we do sleepovers, like they sleep over at their grandparents' house and stuff. And the hard part is there are people that I do genuinely feel like I would feel comfortable with them spending the night, you know?
Yeah.
But it's just I feel like that opens up something so much harder too, to where it's like, okay, I'm going to say yes to some people, but no to others. And I
Yeah.
feel like that just
And
makes it
that's the
even,
space that we're in right now is where it's like she doesn't understand why. Well, so she just had her okay, so I told you two people. The second one, she just spent the night. She just did a sleepover for the first time last night.
hmm
And it was for her birthday. And so I needed to know like everyone that was there. And I went to the party and like I wanted to like suss it out and like make sure she had her little watch on. She can call me or text me at any time. But I'm just like, but that's still, and she didn't like it. Whenever at first I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And she's like, but why? But
yeah,
why? And I'm just like,
you don't want to have that
sometimes,
conversation
yeah,
sometimes.
it's
Yeah.
like it's just because it's just sometimes you just have
Yeah.
to I have
And
to be
that's
mom.
Yeah, and that's why for us it's just been like a full around no. But it is hard because she is missing out on these experiences and things like that. So
Yeah.
what we've kind of landed on, and we haven't done it yet, but I'm super comfortable with it, is some people call them like a sleep under instead of a sleepover, where it's like they go and they do all the sleepover stuff, but I pick her up at like 10 or 11.
That's what I was going to do this weekend. It was ultimately that I went and there was only one other girl that stayed besides her friend who she like her besides her little bestie.
Yeah.
So it was one other girl and I met this girl and I was comfortable with her and she was so kind to like so. But yes, I like that. You just don't sleep there.
Yeah,
And you can even go right back
you do
like the
the
next morning.
that's what I said. I was like, I will bring her for breakfast, so we haven't done that yet. And it's hard because she does miss out on something. She doesn't get invited to some things because,
Yeah,
people know that we're not going to do sleepovers. And that's just, again, I have to be okay with being the villain at that point, and
exactly.
it's just, it's awkward and it's uncomfortable and it's hard. And man,
Yeah. The only like that's funny you say that too because the only I think that's actually on our list is like the sex talk. Like, is it awkward? Does it have to be, like
Mhm.
actual sex talk? I haven't had
Right.
that with my 8, 9, 9-year-old. We have had it with our almost 13-year-old. He's a boy. I need him to be
Well, he's a
responsible,
literal teenager. It's wild.
in
Wild.
like literally 2 weeks he's gonna be. And I can't, so yeah, I mean, we had that conversation with him and it wasn't awkward for me. It was more so awkward for my husband. He never really got that. I never really got that, but I also maybe it's like maybe it's the tism, but I just feel like it's a little, I feel comfortable with just being like, this is what it is. Like, I was definitely that mom where like I just automatically talk to my kids about body parts and everything like that. And then like I would be around other moms and I'm like, oh, that's not what okay. We're doing this differently, which is fine. But I thought what I was doing made sense. And so like even with our oldest, I'm like, this is what happens. Like I asked him first. I'm just like, what do you know? Like, what
Yeah.
do you know about
Oh, yeah,
sex?
for sure.
What do you know? Because I don't want to like come out of nowhere, some random shit. And he's like,
Or what if you say stuff, he's like, I've known this forever.
no,
Why
literally,
are
he's like,
you making it so
or
weird?
worse, he's like, I've been doing this. And I'm like, ah.
Stop it. Oh my God.
So anyway, yeah, we talked about it and we just talked about like, safety, obviously consent, all of it, like
Yeah.
condoms, like whatever, STIs, all this stuff. And I just always say like my mom got lucky because like we didn't talk about it. All I knew was just like that you could get like STDs or something and like die from them, or like you could get pregnant. And
Yeah.
that's, like that part in Mean Girls where he's like, you will get whatever, chlamydia and die or something like that. And
Yeah.
or you will get pregnant and die. And that's literally how I felt. So I
Okay.
just
No, that's why I never did any hard drugs or anything like that. And I was friends
yeah.
with a lot of people that did, but that dare officer, he told me that ecstasy, you could get it laced with something and then that's it. You're just dead. And I was like, okay, well, now I will never do ecstasy in my life. And I literally never did anything except smoke weed a couple times. And then
So
I
fear
also,
definitely works.
it works, man. But am I traumatized? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. But I mean, it did work. Like, I never did any of the stuff that people were doing around me because I was like, did y'all not listen to the dare officer? And
They're just
also,
actually having a party, having a fun time, and you're like, you guys are gonna die. So
your heart's about to explode. Sorry,
I'm praying for
it's
you.
not funny.
It's not
Actually,
funny.
okay,
Actually,
it's
that's
not
terrible.
funny. We should not joke about that. Actually,
So
I'm very sick.
I will
Mm,
just I'm not it's not funny at all, but like my husband is a recovered addict, 6 years plus sober. And so it's very much like a conversation in our household that we're comfortable with. So
it's
that's
like a
why I'm not
dark,
making fun of anybody. Yeah,
yeah,
it's dark humor. We use
yeah.
it to cope. And I forget about that. Sometimes I'll be talking about my husband and people will just be like looking at me. I'm like, he talks, he's okay with it. I swear.
Yeah.
He knows we talk about it.
Yeah, we do not think that stuff is, we take it very seriously. We do.
No, absolutely. Oh, it's actually so
But
sad. And that's another thing that makes me scared. My kid's getting older.
I know. So I think, I don't know what we were talking about. See, fucking
Who
tangents, man.
knows?
Okay, we were talking about how you were so scared about STDs and things like that. Oh, your mom
Yeah,
got
that's
lucky that you never had the
yeah, she got lucky.
conversation.
And so like I don't she did I definitely got lucky with that. But I don't know. I just don't want to leave it up to,
Well, no, and that
you
was the
know.
same. It's like my whole thing, and I need to be like a little quiet because where I record my podcast or our podcast is right above my daughter's room, and it is bedtime. So if I'm
So
too
she's
loud,
taking
she
notes in
shut
her
the fuck.
notebook right now.
Is she actually in the stairwell? Stop it, you guys.
She's like,
This is
but
gonna
mom,
be how she learns. She's gonna be like, well, one time when I was 10 years
no,
old,
she's gonna sneak and watch your
I
podcasts.
stood in the stairwell of my mom's podcast.
No. She's 10, right?
Yeah, 10 and a half, almost
Oh my
11.
goodness. They're
I
so
know. But
big.
so we have not had that conversation. And again, we're just not there yet. Not because I'm shying away from it, not because,
Hmm.
and like, I, genuinely, like, if she had a question, and this is okay, I'm not a parent. Neither one of us are parenting experts. We literally are just like
Winging it.
fighting for our lives, winging it along the way and things like that. But one thing I have learned is you will never be prepared for when these conversations happen. Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, This was back in like April, actually, right after we recorded our first podcast episode. We were visiting friends and family in North Carolina, and we spent a few days on, or like some time with friends on a farm. It's called Pleasant Coats Farm in where is it? Benson, North Carolina. If anybody ever wants to go have a wedding venue or anything there, a little plug
That's
for my
cute.
friend, little plug for my friend. But anyway, so we were visiting. They have so many animals. They have chickens. They have a cow. Now they have two cows. They have ducks. All these things, right? And Avery is super, super interested in animals, loves wildlife, loves animals, all the things. And kids know about animals mating, right? Like kids know how
How do they just like inherently know this? Because
I
I feel
don't
like every kid automatically knows.
I don't right, but like they know
And
how
I'm
that
like,
works. And that's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, the next day we were walking around, we were doing a walk around like this pond at my husband's grandparents where they live, and the kids saw some ducks and Avery was
oh
asking
no.
She was asking, I really hope I remember this correctly because I was not planning on talking about it. She saw some ducks and she asked something about if you need two ducks to mate because they lay eggs. And genuinely, you guys, I know this makes me sound super stupid, but I genuinely like didn't know. She was like, or no, what did she say? I don't know. She asked something about that, but then she was asking about she asked, do,
No.
I can't even get through it. She said, do people have to mate to have a baby? And I said, yes. And she was like, well, how does that work? Because you and dad weren't married when you had me. And I was
So
like,
you jumped into the pond and then the conversation was over.
and then I ran away. No, but literally, I was like, I know, but we'll just have that conversation later. And I just like
I
got
do
out
that.
of
I
it.
do that a lot.
Yeah, but again, if she kept asking questions, she's like, no, like I really want to know. I'd be like, okay, well, let's
Figure
chat. But
this
like,
out.
yeah, so but that's the point is like that is not a conversation I was planning on having on this little walk around the pond. Okay. So if I can bestow, is that the right word? Bestow
Mhm.
any advice or wisdom onto parents of young children or soon to be parents or whatever, is just like I know like you feel like you have a lot of time, but just start preparing and thinking about the way you're going to handle these conversations. You don't need to know. You don't have to have it figured out, but just know it's going
Mhm.
to be when you are least expecting it. And that's kind of what I'm expecting for the sex talk is
Literally.
yeah, like it's going to be when we least expect it. Like it'll be
Ours
like when
happened because he wanted to go to a football game without parents, and like his mom had already said he could, and we were Sean, like my husband and I were both just like, ooh, I don't know about that, because like I wasn't doing that as a teen, but I know what my friends were doing. I know what people that age were doing, so I'm just like,
yeah,
oh
I do think
God,
Avery's in fifth grade and her grade is technically about to have the like sex ed class.
yeah,
And I don't think they dive into that type of stuff. Again, I'm gonna ask her teacher on like what it is, like what are the things that are covered in this course. I'm actually,
yeah,
I mean, to be honest, we can get into it. I've been kind of scared to talk about it publicly, but we're just gonna talk about it. I'm actually gonna opt her out of that course at the school.
yeah,
And that's not because of the content. That's not because of the things they're teaching. That's not because I'm trying to shelter her from the information. It's some other things we could talk about, but I'm gonna ask about like what they're talking about with that kind of stuff. But I'm really expecting it to like happen soon because like kids talk and they have questions about stuff. And I hope Avery knows, both my kids know, that they can ask us those kinds of questions. And so far, so good. Like so far, they're pretty good at asking us questions they have
yeah,
curiosity about. Um, but yeah, so I do think it's gonna come up soon.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. I don't know. Kids are kids are It's not hard. It's not hard. It's just hard, like wanting to do the right thing, like say the right thing or whatever. And I call it out all the time because I'm just like, this is awkward for me. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is kind of awkward. Like, not because there's anything wrong with this conversation, but because I don't know what's exactly age appropriate. I'm also like, I know I'm not a first time mom. I have 5 kids, but it's like my first time being a mom of 5 kids these
Yeah,
ages. So like, I'm kind of trying to figure it out while you guys are, you
yeah,
know? So
I
it's a
know.
lot.
It is. It is a lot. Um, okay, let's do something light because that all felt really heavy.
Literally. And that's how it goes. So hopefully you can follow the bouncing ball. We did like the Are You Naked Mom? That like went right into
I know, I'm
sex
really
talk with the
sorry, guys,
kids.
because like literally people are gonna be like, I thought this like
No.
are we supposed to like ease
We
into
talked
that
about
kind
our
of
first
stuff?
jobs too. I don't think we like actually
No.
checked off the list.
It's in the long lost episode.
You're right.
Did you ever watch SpongeBob when you were a kid? Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure it's still on.
It is still on, I think, but no, I was not allowed to. I was
Oh,
sheltered. I was not allowed to because he
okay.
said words like a butt. I don't know.
I think they're because he said words like but. He, wow. They, I think, had like one time like a long lost episode or something like that. And I just remember like I was so excited. Like those Nickelodeon commercials got me.
I honestly don't think that anything that we say, like even talk about, is like super light. I feel
Okay,
like it
but
all goes
why
into,
why is cartwheels on the list? I feel like I added that, but I cannot for the life of me tell you why. Can you do a cartwheel?
yeah. So, I recently had that,
Oh shit.
well, I mean, I had that, what's it called? Something injection, cortisone injection
Yeah.
for my spinal, whatever issues. And so about 2 weeks after that, I was feeling great, not thinking about it, just did a cartwheel with the kids. And then for like the next 3 days, my
Gabriella.
neck hurt. And no, I'm not kidding you. As soon as I came up from the cartwheel, I was like, like that's how good the injection helped. I was like, I'm cured.
I'm
I can
curious.
walk again.
So
Praise the Lord.
you so you can do a cartwheel, but you probably
Should
shouldn't.
not. No, yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, y'all ain't got nothing
Yeah.
on me.
My mom so my mom did that, okay, at my wedding. Well, okay, I take that back. It was at our wedding rehearsal. So this is almost 10 years ago. My mother, love her so much. She is 64. So actually, she's about to be 64. I'm sorry. Sorry, mom, didn't mean to age you. So, but 10 years ago at my wedding, she was 54. And our family dynamics are very interesting, okay? Because well, actually, I probably shouldn't put everyone's stuff out there, but so I won't. But our family dynamics are interesting because like his parents had him younger and
Hmm.
my parents had me older. Like I'm like on the younger side of my siblings, he's on the older side of his siblings, right? So our parents are like I think about 10-ish years apart, 9 or 10 years apart. So his dad was in his 40s. All right. So we're at my wedding rehearsal or not rehearsal. We didn't have a rehearsal dinner or anything like that. We had like pizza by the pool. But we were at the like rehearsal for the walking, you know what I'm saying? Like where we're just
Hmm.
figuring out the ceremony the day before. And I'm like stressed out, all right? This was before I exercised. This is before I unlocked endorphins in my brain. I'm 11 months postpartum. I'm
Oh my
breastfeeding.
God.
Like I'm didn't do any personal development.
Stressed.
I'm a little bitchy hormonal 21-year-old person, okay, who's getting married. And my mom was driving me up a wall, as mothers probably do for brides. And again, I was really immature and just whatever. So I'm like stressed because everyone's having a good time. And I'm like, you guys, like, we need to like do this. Da, 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 da." I'm so stupid. I wasn't like a bridezilla, but I think I was on edge. So anyway, we got married on a golf course. So we're doing the rehearsal. And Jason's dad was playing he had a 6-year-old daughter at the time. And he was playing with her and they were doing cartwheels. Okay. And Jason's dad does a cartwheel on the golf course playing with his daughter. And my mother, who's 54 years old, who has two shoulder replacements, plates and rods in her neck, rods in her back. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry to put you out there, mom, but I guarantee you should be, I'll make sure she's okay before we post this. Okay.
Oh my God.
She says Jason could do that, which is my husband's dad's name is Jason as well. Like, Jason can do that. I can do that. So she goes and does a cartwheel. I did not see any of this. Okay. This is all secondhand information. I was there, but my back was turned. And apparently she goes to do this cartwheel. I can't tell you if she's ever even done a cartwheel in her life. Falls, like, goes up and just straight down on her shoulder. To this day, 10 years later, her shoulder is not well from this damn cartwheel. Dude,
Oh my God, it's so stressful. Don't you feel like your parents like love you, mom, but like you become a parent, like when you get old, you're just like, why did you do that? Like the same way they would talk to you if you were young and you hurt yourself. Like, what even? Why?
so this is the thing is I guess I didn't know I was on edge. Like the reason I know I was
Right.
on edge was because of everyone's reaction because
Yeah.
everyone started was like, "Oh." And then I turned around I'm like, "What?" And everyone's like, "Nothing. Nothing. Nothing." And I guess my best friend, she looked at my mom and she was like, "Do not tell her you just did that."
Your mom's like limping, but like can't
I'm fine. I'm fine.
she's like, I'm great.
Oh my God, but you know what? That's gonna be me. I would no, okay. Would I do a cartwheel? That would be me. I'll do a cartwheel at my kid's wedding. Now I have to
Regardless. Yeah, exactly.
pass down that generational trauma, you know?
Exactly.
Just kidding.
Our poor kids. Oh my
I
goodness.
know.
So
So really though, if you are listening to this, thanks for sticking with us through a little bit of a hot mess. And
We're
also
gonna say this every
some
time, and don't expect anything different next time, okay? We're saying thank you for sticking with them. We're saying this is what it will be.
I know.
I'm
But
not even gonna
really,
lie.
we really do love feedback. Like, even if it hurts our feelings a little bit,
Right.
just deliver it in a nice way
Even if I,
so I
right,
don't
even if I don't
cry.
listen to it,
Yeah,
totally fine too. I might not. I'm just being honest with you, but I will definitely take it into consideration.
basically don't be an ass.
Yeah.
Be hopeful. I'm just kidding. But if you
So say what you mean what you say, but don't say it
yes.
mean. There you go.
Ooh,
I like that.
I need to say that to my kids more.
I think that's like a recovery.
No, that's good.
I like it.
That's very
When you're
good.
like making amends and stuff, and what is it? Narcotics Anonymous or something?
Yeah.
Alcoholics? I don't know.
But
I've
if
never
some
done any of those, but I'm like,
but we know the program. I am an ally. I
I
support
definitely
you.
know the 12 step.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we would love feedback on like if you really enjoyed a part of our episode, if
Hmm.
I don't know, and yeah, or if there's like we said, if there's something that you feel like we should talk about, but
Because as
literally,
of right now, we have it on what spot? We're gonna do Spotify and YouTube for sure, right? Where
well,
we're putting everything.
At this point, Gabriella, we're already on stuff because it's episode 2. Also, guys,
You're
we
right.
actually haven't posted our first episode at this moment in time. We're posting it tomorrow, so we're
Right.
trying. We just
Trying to
like
figure it out.
we're going back in time a little bit.
I was just
So,
trying to think of like where they could do it because I don't even know. I think you can post comments on like Spotify. We just
oh,
want love.
comments. That what you're talking about?
Yeah. Do you
I don't know how
subscribe to
that works.
podcasts? You subscribe to YouTube videos. I know that, or like YouTube channels. So
Okay, so basically, your takeaway for this is you don't need to know how to do anything to just take action.
yeah,
Okay.
this is your homework. Figure out how to
Your
see
new
all of our
motto,
podcasts.
your new motto should be if Larissa and Gabriella can, then I can.
No, literally. If they could do it, I could do it.
If they can do it, I
My
could do it.
kittens are going crazy over here.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna wrap that up and then maybe we'll have more of a plan, but no promises next time.
Mm-mm. Don't
Mm-mm.
expect it.
Okay. Well, bye, friends.
Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
I don't know where the record button is.